Just first of all, thanks for having me here in your country. It's been such an amazing experience. And Garrett, thank you. And Ellie, thank you so much. It's been like such a wonderful experience. And yeah, Norway's been like so good to me. Uh, I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, which is like kind of like a grimy town close to New York City on the East Coast in the United States. And like where I grew up in the suburbs, it was sort of like this in between place where there was city and like some culture stuff, but then also like a lot of decay and like in between areas that you could kind of sneak through, and as well as some nature. So there was a creek that ran through my neighborhood, and this was sort of like the life uh, stream of like this whole community. So I could like walk through the creek to school in the morning and stuff like that. And that's like where I would play and learn about life. And my friends and I, we would all play in there. But it wasn't exactly like, it wasn't like a Norwegian nice creek with crystal clear water. It was sort of like a sewage dump. So people would always get like diseases and stuff. Like kids would get like sick from playing in it. And that was just kind of like the reality of living in this place. Um, but in addition to just being streams, it was also like these sewer tunnels, and it was a sort of like a network of these tunnels that we could walk in the pitch black, basically for like kilometers, and then come out somewhere and we'd be in like a totally new place that we'd never seen before. It was a very magical, weird, disgusting experience. Uh, but it sort of like created these like magical landscapes in my mind that I don't know, very mysterious places that were just like in this pretty like mundane place. And I also grew up Quaker, which you guys have Quakers here, right? So yeah, right. So in at least in the meeting that I grew up in, whatever, everyone faces each other, kind of meditates for an hour, and if you wish to speak or something, you stand up and say something. But there's no hierarchy in the church, and it's basically just being silent and sitting there for an hour. And as a child, that was very difficult because already at that young age, I was like, like addicted to stimulation, and like, how do I just sit quietly in one place for that long? So I developed this strategy that I found that like if I sat there and I rubbed my eyes really hard, I would start to see these sparkly things, these sparkly images, and they would turn into symbols, and then they would kind of like turn into daydreams, and these like narrative, surreal movies would be playing in my head. And as I got older and like learned more about it, then I found out that they actually had a name, and they're called phosphenes. Do you guys know what I'm talking about with these? Anybody ever have that? Yeah. So kind of like a first like psychedelic experience, but there's like a universality that people have with the images that they're seeing, the symbols that they're seeing, and like so researchers have defined them to be like a certain language, and then when they were looking in cave paintings all over the world, they would find similar images. So it's basically like people in the pitch black, in the dark, seeing the same thing, this like sort of universal language, and drawing the same things. So for me, it was like, I always felt like when I was experiencing this, it was like watching movies, I called it, because I didn't think that there was a way that I could be creating it, but it felt like it was being streamed through me. It was like channeling something. So fast forward, I guess that's like my initial interest in moving images and stuff like that. This is like a jokey picture. But I went to a technical school to learn video, and then I went to film school at university, and then I moved to New Orleans as an adult, and I started making commercials and freelance videos and stuff like that. And New Orleans, if you guys know, is like a very sparkly, colorful place as well. So kind of an influence. And then, to me, just commercialism in general, I've always felt like, or like the language of commercials is sort of speaking to this like channel that's always running through us, like the same language I was talking about before, like that you see when your eyes are closed. And that's like why it affects us so much. And why, like what it's tapping into is like there's some sort of truth there that is appealing to us. Because it's emulating this collective consciousness that we're all tapped into. So this is just some more examples of my work, like kind of like this never-ending stream of visual vomit. And then, but as I was doing freelance and commercial stuff, I always felt like it was, you know, it was taking this important responsibility and like abusing it because they're using it for evil. So I was trying to find a way that I could feel good about using the media and like using my gifts for something. And it wasn't until I found basically the art collectives in New Orleans, which was finding like other people my age who were like me who were making art, and I didn't really know what being an artist was until then. So that was like, I was like 26 or something. Like I started making art basically. And it was fun, so I could use kind of like the goofy things that I learned making commercials and sort of apply them and understand the art world through this lens that I had.
You got a package right
So
there,
I'll show some examples of like videos and
trucks and Levi's,
like single channel videos that I've created that were like early on
more real than real.
in this journey. This one is called Pumpkin Pencil.
What is a pumpkin pencil?
A pumpkin pencil is a workload-optimized gourd management platform.
Enabling new ink delivery modules.
Is it what?
It's a what?
My pumpkin pencil writes checks.
Proscribes your future.
Makes decisions.
We collaborate on my
pumpkin.
pumpkin.
I develop new ideas on my pumpkin.
I want a pumpkin that understands algorithms.
Compares business conflations.
Predicts media traffic.
My pumpkin is
Everywhere.
My pumpkin is HIV positive.
My pumpkin is square.
Sexy. A fucking genius.
Edible.
Asian.
Genetically sound.
Omnipotent. Protein folds.
Omnipotent.
My pumpkin is adopted.
That's what
That's
I just said.
said.
That's what I just said.
Let's all become smart pumpkin pencils.
Pumpkin
Pumpkin
pencils.
pencils. What is a pumpkin pencil?
A pumpkin pencil is a workload-optimized gourd management platform.
Enabling new ink delivery modules.
Is it what?
So they're all loops because I was making them for installation to be experienced like in a gallery, basically. And also repeating, it starts to make more sense as well. This one is a channel that's sort of like playing off of a game show reality.
Kendra.
I know there's a lot of things in your life that you're ashamed of, but I really have a feeling that what's inside this box is going to redeem you for all of those mistakes. I really hope so. Don't worry, it's going to be all right.
You're welcome.
Brittany. You're the one, Brittany. I think this really could be the one, if I can get it open. It's not bad.
This, like my process, for example, like that was one of my birthday parties. I just have my friends over and it's like, for my birthday, I'd like you to act in movie, you know. And then so in the background you can hear people screaming and smashing things, but then there's also like this studio thing going on. Here's another example, sort of playing off of television tropes. This is I'm really interested in like hosts. I don't know, or like the culture of like television hosts or something. In the way that they're a hierophant, right? Communicating some higher power's intention in a way that like is like coercing an everyday person to doing something. Yeah, let's try it out.
Hey, I'm Roel. I'm here at this real place talking to some real people about some real things. Let's go inside. This is Jacob. Hey. This is Dagen.
How you doing?
Good. First of all, I just want to thank you for taking your time to be here with us today.
No problem. I've always been here.
I wanted to talk to you about the things people have a hard time holding on to.
I mean, you can't really hold on to an unfolding process.
You can't hold on to an unfolding process.
Well, maybe it is what it is. When you give up trying, you kind of just give up yourself.
I only cry because of the bright spot that we were allowed that told us how close we came to making it.
Right. But I always feel like I'm so far behind and I can't keep up. I mean, you just can't rip the skin off a snake. A world full of snakes. A world full of snakes.
People see what the money can buy. They see the little churches that money builds. They eat the symbols, and then they get the nourishment.
I just wish my wife could say that. Let's hear what some people have to say. Come on.
You're telling me that there's 3...
So, I kind of like in television how surreal and nonsensical it can be, but when they put words together, it kind of seems like it makes sense, or it makes enough sense that you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then if you actually read it as a script, you would be like... So this is another like kind of play with that same character. In this one, he's riding around on rollerblades helping people. But I'm just always interested in how television or media has this sort of like altruistic air to it, but what are they actually doing? So we'll see.
This is it. This is the moment. God gave me a job, and that's to help others, people like you. This is what I do. All day, son. All day. So how do you explain an out-of-body experience for somebody like me?
Kind of that sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach where you're just, I want to tell them, but I can't tell them.
It's something that you can control.
Yes.
Whoa, let's rewind that. Let's do that again.
If it's a matter of life or death or the last piece of pie in the fridge, I can't hold on to it. You've got to know about it.
That's an emotion that you feel.
Yes.
How does that work?
It just grabs you from the bottom of your heart.
It takes you all the way down.
Digs you down into the ground.
A cement factory? Busy? I don't know. Construction?
Yeah, there you go.
Probably, that's what I would feel. Probably very anxious.
I'm thinking that this is gonna be a hard subject to tackle. Like seriously, guys, do I really have to do everything around here? Hi, I'm Roel. I'm here at this real place, talking to some real people about some real things. So this is gonna be some really hard work, man. Are you willing to pitch in?
The secret's only a secret until you tell somebody. Hold on to something, I guess, whether it be tangible or emotional, I guess. A dislike or tension or feeling some sort of way. Some sort of feeling, I would say.
We'll go back to that later, but right now, let's check out our live feed.
5,
6, 23,
86,
18, 5, 3,
15,
24, 7, 1,
6,
19, 2, 4,
12,
8, 1, 6,
2,
17, 0. Kids playing with dirt.
8,
0, 10,000, 1,
39,
12, 100.
51.
This is too much for me right now. I need to step out of the studio, clear my mind, and we'll get back to you in just a few minutes.
Should I keep this going a little bit? I'll give it a go.
Weird.
turn your phone.
So tell me exactly, what do you believe in?
Maybe she was like bobbing for apples in a big puddle of mud. A bad makeup application and then a big fight that ensued afterwards.
I'm thinking you should maybe look me in the eye, because I'm willing to invest in you. Today, right now.
I get shaky, I get irritable, lose weight, look like I've been tweaking. Start digging through the dumpster, you know.
If you think about it collectively, we're just one big emotional voice. We're gonna cut back to the live feed.
Yeah. So those are examples of my work, like in the box of a single channel video, but I really like to pull my work out of that shape and do installations. So an example. This is one in like a commercial That's just kind of like a close-up of what those things look like. And here's just some other images of other installations I've done. So it can be sort of like three-dimensional or sculptural. And so, like, all of that was sort of, studio to gallery art, and it kind of like only exists in those places. I guess that's what installation art is, really. But in 2015, started switching up my career and my practice, and I walked the Appalachian Trail with my wife at the time, who, so it's like, I guess about 3,500 kilometers. It's a path through the woods from Georgia in the South United States up to Maine, which is like the highest point on the East Coast. And it took us about seven months of walking. So you're in the woods and following these little white blazes on trees and stuff, and that's your guide through the whole way. And it's very arduous and difficult and crazy, but also like really beautiful and perfect. And you just sleep in a tent every night in a different place every night. It's very nice. It's all kind of like deciduous forests. So I was trying to continue to make art while I was on the trail, and what that ended up being for me was like anything I could do on my cell phone. So this is like a cell phone drawing. Is there another kind of like little collages? And these glitch photos. Just trying to represent the experience in a way that's like idiosyncratic and different than just landscape pictures and regular blogs. And then when I returned to New Orleans after the trip was over, I did make an installation about it, and but instead of being about like the landscape or anything like that, it was sort of about these rituals that people have with sort of mundane things in their lives that are actually really important. And then they kind of took the form of like megaliths. In this show, it was in kind of like a big warehouse. So you walk into the experience of this gateway that's sort of Stonehenge. It has two hand sanitizing stations. In the United States, like hand sanitizer outside of and it's sort of like something that you don't really think about. Curious about like how people are using it. Is it ritualistic or habitual or what? And then this thing is a giant cell phone charging station. And those are like these trash cans that ask you to leave something behind. It's special. And so then the next project I did after that was I went out to Taos, New Mexico, which is high desert. It's like 3,000 meters elevation. It's very high and it's very cold and not a lot of oxygen. And so I was living in this trailer, and this is like Indian Pueblo land, and this is a gallery. So I was kind of just like keeping the gallery open for a few months, and these are the snakes that come out every time you open the door. Snakes come out of the walls everywhere. And I like snakes, but it was still like, you know, when you see things out of the corners of your eyes and you're just like, oh my god, there's snakes everywhere. It's like, she's not running it, but they like set it up. So I wanted to do a project there, and there was no funding or money or anything. So I did a Kickstarter for it to fund it, which I've never done before. I've always been like kind of like afraid / like ashamed to or something. But so it was like a big step that like I needed to. It was important. So I'll show you the Kickstarter video that is about the project, because I can explain it better than I can. Hi, my name's Dave Greber, and I am an artist working in video. I'm here in beautiful Arroyo Seco. The snow's coming down, the mountain's beaming, it's hung. I've always tried to reach people on a universal level to connect to the archetypal energy that connects us all. I believe that the digital tools that have been provided to us offer great potential for healing and positivity, if we can learn how to use them correctly. There's a lot of interesting fields opening up right now with consciousness shifting videos. There are videos to help you sleep, to help you focus, to achieve an orgasm, to help you find God, all sorts of things. What I'd like to do with my next few months is to spend some time researching these technologies with others here at Par Seco outside of Taos, New Mexico. The Taos area has a reputation as being a vortex which attracts all varieties of metaphysical healers. My project is called The Hum. The name of the exhibit comes from an unexplained frequency that's emanating from the mountains over here, called the Taos Hum. I wonder if I've been hearing the hum all along. Maybe the hum brought me here to spread its message worldwide. The hum has a few different components. I'm going to be creating a window display and 2 large murals and a working studio in the exhibit that I'm going to be collaborating with local healers to produce digital manifestations of their work in the form of consciousness shifting videos. This will be a living exhibit and people can come in and see what's going on while I'm producing work for the next part of the show, which will be an exhibit at the Secret Dungeon in Brooklyn, New York. I want to know what the needs of my audience are. Through the Kickstarter, you're going to have an opportunity to commission a video that will benefit you in some way. It's going to be experimental. I can't legally make any claims that this video is going to heal you, but I truly believe that a change in consciousness can change your reality. I'm an editor at heart, and that's my greatest gift as an artist. When I get an idea, sometimes I'm drawn to it long before I can articulate exactly what it's going to look like. But as I start chipping away at the idea and producing more and more work, the image becomes clearer and clearer, and ultimately I find the elusive thing that I was searching for in the first place. The truth is, this project's about uncovering something that I haven't identified yet. What I'm trying to do with this project is to build a bridge from these older folk healing technologies to the newer video-based technologies that are just being invented right now. And that's really exciting. I truly believe that the videos that are going to be produced during this residency will benefit human beings. This is not a scientific study, so there's no way to prove that. But these consciousness shifting videos affect many people in a positive way, including me. So I need your help. Bad. I'm trying to raise money for this exhibit. I want to pay the people that I'm working with. I want to pay myself. I have the budget all laid out. You can check it out in the project description below. The biggest reward that you'll get from supporting this project is that all the videos created during this residency are going to be available online for free. So you'll get to take advantage of all of the healing properties of these videos. That's not all we got. We got some crazy awards in this project.
Oh my god.
We got the emoji. I will send you an emoji message. We got the private video link. It's going to be a special private video exclusively for supporters of this Kickstarter. We got the VLP, a very lucky postcard. We got the 12x16 solstice print. We got the even bigger apple bottom mountain print. Have you ever wanted to be an executive producer? Now is your chance. Or have you wanted a consciousness shifting video tailored to your specific needs? I can offer that. And for my top level supporters, I will get you tattooed on my arm. It's an offer that's just too good to pass up. Thank you for your time, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you. So nobody paid for the tattoo, but it was successful, which was cool. So then I got to do the project, and so I was like, oh shit, now I have to do this project. And I put out like an open call for people to work with me on this project just by like flyering and stuff around town. And then started building out this installation in the gallery. And this is like, you know, like creating all the rewards and stuff and mailing them to Norway. Crazy. And then made this altar to like the magpie deity that I really liked, or my like spirit animal there. And then I saw that you guys have magpies here too, which was so exciting. I was like, wow, I just had this crazy experience with magpies for like the last few months. So I was starting out like sort of doing like field recordings and things, and like trying to indexically capture this sound, this hum, and also working with other people who had like either heard about the open call or just people I had talked to. So this woman goes by Grandma Green, and she was like amazing and great to talk to and stuff like that, and really helped like me understand some of the ideas behind it. And like a few people had like contacted me about working on the project, and I was explaining, I was like, I want you to like, do you believe that you can send your energy through a video camera and have it come out on the other side and reach people? And they were like, it doesn't work like that. Like, you gotta do, like, we have to like talk to somebody like specifically. And I was like, do you even believe in what you do? I don't know. But I think it's like when you're like a professional healer or something, you're sort of like keeping everything like controlled in a like commercial way, because you have to make a living too. So you can't offer free healing services for everyone in the world all at once for free. You know, you have to control that stream. But for example, like, so Grandma Green, like I asked her, I was like, do you think that you could send energy through your hand through this camera and it'll come out on the other side and reach people? And she was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, all right, let's do this, you know? And this is another woman, Brooke, who she gave kind of like individual blessings and like intention cleansings to the videos as they were being produced, so that like when they left the computer, they would be, I don't know, pure or cleansed or whatever you want to call it. And then the space itself was sort of like, it was like cozy, like community space, so we could have like concerts, little shows there too as well. And that's a guy experiencing the videos. So I'll just show you what the videos actually turned into and kind of explain them. So. There's 5 videos that were produced that were commissioned by people through the Kickstarter. This guy, he asked me to make him something because he was leaving a job that he had been at for a long time, and he wanted some sort of like something to help him feel secure and like have some self-defense or something was like on his mind a lot. So I made him this like crystal turtle shell, and then the sound underneath was a solfeggio tone, and the solfeggio scales. Do you guys ever hear those? It's like Tibetan singing bowls or something like that. It's like using the scale system, and each of the notes resonates with like water molecules, and it'll cause them to fractalize and turn into different patterns. So because our bodies are mostly water, when you're like hearing this tone, it's actually changing the molecular structure of your body. So right now your body's being changed by the sound. And then there's sort of like this underlying hum sound from the mountains itself, which is in there. It's been blessed by these 2 women. And then there's sort of like this like hypnotic thing happening as well. This one. It's a little more like whimsical, but it's a guy asked me to make him a video to help him remember his passwords for the computer. So this is like the patron saint who forgotten your passwords. So if you're having trouble with this, you sit maybe in your living room, they do, and then afterwards maybe. It's the same thing with the music. So it's like a different different frequency. And these little symbols or sigils, chaos magic. Basically, it's like the words that you can hear organized into like concentrate by thinking it. It's like a spell being passed out. So it's okay to like keep the symbol line. This person just asked me to make a video that would help them be more chill in life. That's all they said. So it's like the chillness of the snowy mountains. And then this one is just to help you focus. So then I was getting ready to leave Taos, and I found out like within an hour or something, I got a job offer in Santa Fe at like working at this place that is sort of like almost my dream job, and I found out that I got the residency here in Norway at like almost the same exact time, and I was like, wow, this should be a tough decision. But I knew like immediately I was gonna come here. Like it was just like, yeah, definitely, you know. So got a plane ticket, and I met Sophia on the plane, the other artist who was doing this project, and we were like both interested in mythology and symbolism and stuff in the culture, and we're like, maybe we should just collaborate on a project. And so, you know, in a few minutes of meeting each other, like we were talking about like this project that we were going to do. And just one of the first like initial ideas was this story that I heard. It's like the myth of like where art and poetry comes from in Norse mythology. Is anyone familiar with this? So apparently the gods all, after a big fight or something, they all spit into like a jar or a cauldron and created a man out of this named like Kvasir. I don't know. And he was the most knowledgeable man, and he was the best poet and artist, and like could do no wrong. And the dwarves invited him over for dinner or something like that, and he's like, I'm not gonna go over your house. And they're like, why? And he's like, because you're gonna kill me. And they're like, no, we're not gonna kill you. And he's like, I feel like you're gonna kill me. And they're like, no, come over. Like we just want to have dinner. So he goes over, and they tie him up and hang him from the rafters and slit his throat. And then he just bleeds into their cauldron where they're making this mead. And then from his blood, they create this drink that anyone who drinks it is gifted with the ability to make beautiful art or poetry. And then blah, 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 a bunch of things happen. And then Odin has to get it back. at some point. So he turns into an eagle, and he collects it all in his mouth, and he tells the people back at the castle or whatever to set up these cauldrons, and he'll spit it into the cauldrons like as he gets back into the fort. And so he does that, but then he also lets some slip through at the backside. And then this is apparently like where all the bad art and poetry comes from in the world. So I just thought that was a funny story. So we kind of started there, and now we're in Skudeneshavn. Very beautiful place. And so this is the new residency, and so we were staying in this building over here, and then this was the Fabriken. So it was like the studio and gallery space. Very beautiful. And like the first week, we kind of just spent like walking around and experiencing the land, going sailing. Ellie and Knut is a highlight. And walking and talking a lot about trolls and troll houses, and then also about we just had like maybe one conversation about birch trees, but Ellie was telling us that at this time of year they would drink it as a child, drink the sap of the birch trees, and so Sophia and I were both really interested in like doing something outdoors and in foraging and things like that. So we started by tapping birch trees out on the island and collecting sap almost every day. And this was like before we really had an idea of what project we were doing or if this was even art. But then we realized we're like, oh, we're making this like mead. We're making like the mead of art and poetry. And I was like, maybe that will like brand it and market it, and that could be the art, like where the art comes from. So then we made like a label and stuff. And this is like, she makes anagrams, so like just these words, the meat of art and poetry, rearranged, came out to say for a Potent Daydream. And we thought that was like a beautiful title. And then we made these bottles and sort of like a cheesy supermarket display. And then we made a commercial for it. Spent his whole life looking for it. So the children are from local schools, so we were doing workshops at the space. So a few classes came in, and then like I always like to try to take advantage of those situations and be like, oh, you have to be in our video. And these kids are so great. They're just like that blank stare. It's so perfect. And I like we were thinking about like 80s luxury commercials or something. Like that was sort of just like the inspiration, and I don't know, and it just kind of like made itself. But so then next, like we made a installation for it. So this is like a monitor on the ground, and then we built a frame around it out of like rocks and netting and Christmas lights and like textile things and stuff like that. And now, like that it was on the ground, it had like a really different feeling than before. And think Sophia said it was like, she's like, it's like a troll trap. And like, I was like, who would want to catch a troll or something, you know? She's like, no, it's to trap us, you know? I was like, yeah. And then it started getting like deep, you know? And so there's something about it, like when it was on the ground now, and like these people that used to be like facing you before, now like oriented on the ground, they're sort of like more like corpses, or they're like trapped like in there, and they're beckoning you, telling you to come in and join them, right? They're like, you need to come and join us in this pond. I don't know, it gives me chills just thinking about it. It's just, I don't know. So it was a really wonderful like art making experience, you know, where you make something that kind of like freaks you out, and you're just like, where'd that come from, you know? So I was thinking too about the ayahuasca community, which is like a I don't know, trans-dimensional plant spirit that people ingest ceremonially, like in South America. But they believe that the spirit of this plant like will reach you before you've ever ingested it. Like, could be like months or years before. It's already like putting out its call that you're going to meet it somehow. It wants to commune with you. And so like Terence McKenna, do you guys know this guy? He was just a cool like philosopher, psychonaut guy from the like 80s, and he died in the 90s. But he had like a theory that human consciousness evolved from like an ape biology joining with like fungus consciousness, basically, or like plant consciousness, and coming together, and that's how we like were able to elevate ourselves from beyond being just monkeys. But then, so I was kind of thinking about like that the troll spirit or something is just like the spirit of the earth speaking to us through this birch tree plant or something like that, and like how did it like pull us like across the world to come to like talk to it. It's really crazy. And also all these ideas, I'm still like, you know, I'm just like formulating them now, so if you guys have any ideas that could help me make sense of this all, you're welcome. There's also this book, or do you guys know Michael Pollan? He's pretty cool, but he wrote this book called A Botany of Desire, and it's sort of about how plants have cultivated us, or have like made us choose certain species over other ones and cultivate them. So it's like about plants communicating with us. So I don't know, then it's like all these like flashbacks. I'm like, yeah, it's coming, it's all spinning together, like the end of like a mystery movie, and it's like it made us come here and talk to it. This is just some more installation shots from some of the things. So we produced this publication as well. It was funded by the Rogaland Kunstsenter, and we have it for sale tonight as well. And yeah, this is the book. Look at this. Anyway, it's up here. So it's sort of like process photos. It's an artist book by Sophia and I, and just like what we were working with as we were going through it. Anyway, so that's what brought me up to here. And now, what am I doing here? I don't know. I've been working on this presentation, but also I had this German language textbook. This is very light compared to everything else they were talking about. This German language textbook from when I was in I was 12 or 13, and someone gave it to me on the school bus, and it had like drawings on almost every page, like hilarious like kid drawings, you know. And then we kept like adding to it too, and whatever. And then I left it with a friend of mine from high school, and he scanned it recently and sent it to me, and it's pretty funny. So I don't know like what to do with it, but there's, you know, it's just really dumb, childish things. But I think there's some good stuff in here. I don't know. There's just a lot of like, it's like penises on every person or something. This like what is going on in this? And then this like, or like the horse is pooping. Okay, that's it. I just thought I'd end on that note. But thank you guys for sitting through that. So, if anybody has any questions or anything like that, or please.
You mentioned the front in New Orleans, and that's one of the many sort of artist collectors in New Orleans, and that's kind of rare to me that there's so many artists collective and so active. Can you just explain how the front works?
Yeah. Yeah, like Garrett just said, like in New Orleans, there's almost like a neighborhood that's like artist collectives, and there's like 4 or 5 like on a strip, and then there's a bunch that are sort of like satellites a little further out. And the one that I was a part of was called The Front, and it was you're all artist members, so you have like, I don't know, autonomy over 4 shows a year or something like that. It's a building split up into 4 rooms, and you pay dues, like monthly dues. But for your show, you can do whatever you want, basically. So you could curate it out to other artists, or you could sell it, I guess, or you could have your own work shown in it. So that was basically like how I started showing work, because I was like, I don't know, how does one get an art show? And then I applied to one of these collectives, and I got in, and suddenly like I was like, okay, now I can like curate my own shows and do whatever I want here and stuff. So that's how I like got my foot in the door to having shows at all. And the different collectives work differently. I feel like now as they're getting like a little more established, these are all like post-Katrina institutions. So in the past few years, I feel like they've been getting more established. Like since I've left, it's like some of them are starting to get like funding from grants and things like that like we didn't have any when I was there, but now it's like you know, a little more like legitimate, maybe. Is there something you guys would like to show? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know, it's funny. Yeah.
I need to know, what do people leave behind in the trash cans in the majestic?
It's a good question. So,
or did you do anything with it?
Well, some of it would like, you know, be like real trash that would go bad. And there were rats that would come and eat through the bags, so and like spread it and stuff. So yeah, I didn't really do anything with it. And then also I left New Orleans before this show was over, so I didn't like deinstall it. So I don't know what happened to it. I think they actually threw out a bunch of like my work and stuff too as well. So sometimes that happens. So they didn't keep the trash, obviously. They threw out the work. But thanks for asking. That's a good question. Yeah.
How do you got one really make the money if you didn't say about the sidekicks is what focus the audience. No, stop that. The contain that stream. How did you make the money? pensioner.
How did I make money, or how?
Agreed with that.
So I gave her some money to help me, but like in general, she's not like a healer, but she was like a caretaker at this like hostel basically. And there's like a weird thing in Taos where like it's almost like a barter economy, where like no one, I don't know, this is a generalization, but people like don't expect to get paid for things, and like it's really hard to like get paid for things and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons it was very difficult to live there. So people are like, if you could stay for free, like a work for stay, working like 25 hours a week, like that's like an awesome deal. And then, but it creates this sort of system where like everyone's like trapped there. You can't, because you're like, oh, I have a place to sleep, but you can never leave because you don't. And there's a weird sort of like outlaw thing there. Like people go there to like disappear. Yeah, like really, yeah. It's attractive to people because there's like not like police officers and stuff, and like it's like Wild West. Like the other thing about that house, like it had like such weird energy, but like the thing with the snakes I was saying, like someone else told me later that like someone was gonna purchase the property but didn't because there were too many ancient snake pits under the house and it would be impossible to get rid of them all. I was like, what the hell does that even mean? They're like, it would just be too hard to get rid of all the snakes, so it's not worth it. It's like, okay. Yeah, they come through the walls and like out the Yeah. They probably, should. I mean, you'd want to talk to them and be friends with them. You don't want to piss them off.
Did you get any testimonials from people who like experienced the videos, or the people who you did commission videos for? Did it help them with what they requested?
No, that's good though. I should do that. Yeah. I mean, I was still kind of like releasing them like as I was here, or when I was in Skudeneshavn, I was like still being like, here's your video. And then I would just kind of get a message back from them being like, oh, that's good, thank you. But yeah, that'd be good if I could get coerce like a testimonial. That would be very good and important to the long-term success of the project.
What did the mead taste like?
So it was just birch syrup. So like, have you had that? I know some people.
I've heard it's very good.
It is. I thought it was really good. Yeah. It was like warm, and like cuts your mouth. Yeah, it's sweet. And we reduced it like so you can reduce it like a syrup. So it's basically like maple syrup, but birch. So it just tastes a little different, but kind of similar. It's supposedly very healthy too. It's like lots of minerals and vitamins and stuff. And then we just added a little like ginger and something else because we did like a toast at the opening, so everyone tried it. It's good. Cool.
Well, thanks, Dave, for sharing your work and experience in Norway with us. Feel free to go and take a look at the book. You can buy it, you can pay in cash, or you can pay with card over by the bar. Yeah, feel free to hang out and chat. And then tomorrow there's openings for kunstskolen and also projecter months. So yeah, the artist is present. So busy art.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks again, Dave.
Oh, thank you guys. Cool. That was fun. Thanks. Yeah.